What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, Bulls fans probably got the best news yet because we have a report from Mark Stein where he is suggesting that a big-time trade could be coming for our Chicago Bulls, and this is just finally what we have all been waiting for. But before I show you guys that quote from Mark Stein, if you guys don't want to miss anything around your Chicago Bulls, as I do fully anticipate a trade to come for Chicago, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell right at the bottom. Set them to all so you guys get a notification straight on your phone or laptop, whatever it may be, right when I post a video here, because a trade could be coming at any second. So if you guys could hit that subscribe button and lock us in as your go-to Bulls YouTube channel. But let's get the quote for you guys from Mark Stein. And he's a very tapped-in beat reporter for the NBA, and he says this: I can relay that I have heard the same and even a confidence emanating from the Windy City that the Bulls believe they will strike at least one significant deal before the February 6th trade deadline to shed at least one high-profile veteran from the roster. And, Bulls fans, this is obviously what we've been waiting for, and we are almost there to shifting to this new era of Bulls basketball because, I felt like we're kind of in that in-between phase right now where it's like you have Josh Giddey, Modest Budziellis, Patrick Williams, Coby White, like all these young players who need the chance to develop, but you still have the older guys like LaVine and Vuce who, if you go look at the stats, from this whole season, those two highest usage rates on the team, the most shots per game on the team, and you can't really let these young guys develop without clearing those two off the team. And so I'm going to go through 5 trade targets for trade candidates for the Chicago Bulls, and let's start off with the man of the hour, Nikola Vucevic. Now, I am hoping that a team is kind of going to get duped by Vuce's stats so far this season and thinking he is a truly impactful player, because if you don't watch the Bulls at all this season and you look at what Vuce has done, 21-10, 3 assists, and the efficiency through the roof, man. 57.7% from the field and almost 47% from downtown. Like, you just look at the raw numbers right here, you're saying Vuce is playing at an all-star level. But what they don't know is he is one of the worst defenders in the league, and still, with him putting up numbers like this, I still think on the court he is just a net negative with how bad he is defensively, and also plays, in my opinion, a selfish brand of basketball. But maybe the Bulls could get a first-round pick for him. We did hear Mark Stein said earlier on the week, last week, that he expects 2 second-round picks to be the trade compensation for a Vuce trade. But keep your eyes out on the Pelicans and the Lakers as 2 teams where he could be dealt at before the NBA trade deadline. But number 2, Zach LaVine. And these are the obvious ones. And I got 3 kind of wild cards coming up here in a second. But start off with LaVine here. So, again, a very efficient year from Zach LaVine, shooting 43% from downtown, 50% from the field, averaging 22 a game. And, if you guys have watched this channel for a while, I have been in the camp that they just need to trade him at any means. Even if you aren't getting any draft capital back, just to shed his contract would be absolutely massive for the future of this franchise. And, LaVine, he is a very talented basketball player. Like, he can score at all 3 levels. He can be very efficient at all 3 levels. And, maybe if the Lakers want a tertiary star, maybe the Heat, even though Tyler Hero's kind of emerging as of late. I don't know. It is still very tough to find a Zach LaVine trade destination, but by far the 2 Bulls that are most likely to get traded are those 2, LaVine and Nikola Vucevic. So hopefully both of them are off the roster when the trade deadline approaches, but man, keep your eyes out for these 2 getting dealt, because I think it is the NBA's worst-kept secret that the Bulls are trying to ship these 2 guys. And even just their style of play this year, the Bulls are the worst defensive team in the league, but they have the highest pace, and it honestly seems like they're not really too concerned with winning games. They're just concerned with getting the trade value up, which, I can't blame them. I would probably, run the same ship if I was running the Chicago Bulls. But I'll ask you, let's just say the Bulls only trade one of these 2, LaVine and Vuce. Which one would you rather trade? Give me an 8 or give me an 8 for Zach LaVine, or give me a 9 for Nikola Vucevic down below in the comments section. If I had to pick one, I think it would still be LaVine just because of his contract. But hey, I'm not going to disagree with any answer here. But let me know, which one would you guys want to trade? Now we'll dive into 3 more trade candidates for the Chicago Bulls here in a second. But first off, I want to give a massive shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. If you guys download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today, use code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, what is PrizePicks? PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. And how do you play? You just pick more or less on 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. And if you guys want to put some, money on a basketball, football, hockey game, whatever it may be, go, take Connor Bedard to score more than a half a goal. You guys can make any play on PrizePicks. So download the app today. Get that $50 instantly after you create your first $5 lineup. Just remember the plug-in promo code CLNS. So download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. But a massive, massive shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, trade candidate number 3 for the Chicago Bulls. I'm going to go Patrick Williams here. So there was a report from Mark Stein as well where he said the Bulls are very, very open to trading Patrick Williams. And I got a lot of thoughts on this. So, number 1, I am open to trading Patrick Williams as well. I don't think any player on this Bulls roster as it is currently constructed should be considered untouchable. But how backwards is it that the Bulls signed this man to a 5-year, $90 million deal this offseason, hoping he would develop, and then by years 3, 4, and 5 of that deal, it's looking like a steal at $18 million per year. But now we're getting reports that the Bulls are just willing to kick the can, and now the Patrick Williams experiment is over. I'm not willing to say it's over until I see him playing without LaVine and without Vuce, and maybe he is truly the second option offensively for this basketball team because, his best plays, like his highlights, if you go throw on Patrick Williams' highlights from 2023 or the 2024 season, like he looks the part. Super long, super athletic wing, can knock it down from beyond the arc. Even though he's not too efficient from the field this season, he's still shooting 39.5% from deep. He has that top-end three-point ability, but I just wouldn't be willing to move off him even if you can somehow get a first-round pick. Like, if you are going to go towards this youth movement, you kind of need to gamble on a couple of these guys working out. And I know he hasn't lived up to that 4th overall pick selection, but I'm still willing to gamble on him. So in terms of trading Patrick Williams, again, he's not untouchable, but I just still would be very, very wary of doing so. But number 4 for me, Lonzo Ball. So, again, we got a report that Lonzo Ball is on the trade block, just like damn near every other player on this Bulls roster. But, Lonzo's contract, it's 1 year, $20 million remaining for the rest of the season. So, obviously, a team wouldn't have to take on that full 20. Will probably end up being around 10 or 11. But Lonzo, he is still on that 20-minute restriction. He was dealing with that wrist injury, but he's back in the lineup. And it is very obvious he is just still trying to get his feet wet, still trying to get used to the NBA game because you can replicate, an NBA setting in practice, but it is still just so different, different between an actual regular season game in the NBA and, in 16 minutes a game, 4.5 points, 2.4 boards, almost 4 assists, and he hasn't been the most efficient basketball player as well. But again, I don't know if the Bulls could damn near get anything for Lonzo at this point because I'm sure teams still have concerns over his injury history. It's not like that just is wiped away because he's playing now, but on paper, a 6'5", 6'6" guard who can still defend at a high level, and he just plays the game the right way. I don't know. Maybe a team like the Heat could take a chance, or maybe one of these contenders. It's like, hey, we could have Lonzo Ball coming off the bench. Like that would be a hell of a pickup. So maybe Lonzo gets dealt, but just want to get you guys information there. And then last one for me. I know a lot of Bulls fans might be freaking out over this, but I am ready to trade Coby White. And this has nothing to do with how he's performed this season. Like the numbers look good. 18.3 points per game, 4.5 assists, 43% from the field, and almost 40% from beyond the arc. But the point I'm trying to make here is no player on the Bulls roster should be considered untouchable. And let's just say a team like, I don't know, the Dallas Mavericks, like the New York Knicks, who, one of these teams who needs another explosive guard off the bench. And honestly, Coby would be one of the best 6 men in the entire NBA on a super cheap deal. I will give the Bulls front office credit on that for signing him early, but if you could get a first and maybe a second for him, I'm all in on this because, again, there is no player on this team right now where it's like that guy will be on our championship team. The Bulls just frankly don't have any of those guys. So Coby, I love him. I've loved seeing him, develop within our organization, but I am willing to move off any of these guys if it just means, truly resetting the timeline and just kind of going fully towards this youth and rebuild. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, give me a C red down below in the comment section. Also, I'm on Twitter at PatSieps. Give me a follow over there. Times are changing here in Chicago, so make sure you guys are subscribed. Don't miss a thing. But thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time. As always, go Bulls.